Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our YouTube channel once again. And in this particular video, I have bad news for Azimio. The bad news is that Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance should actually forget about the 2027 general election, because the outcome of that election is being determined right now. Yesterday, William Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, made certain changes to the police. And from those changes, it is clear that the outcome of the 2027 general election is being determined. So in this video, I want to demonstrate all those. And for those who've been following the politics of this country very closely, and especially those who have been on this channel for a long time, ahead of 2022 general election, I offered Azimio two unsolicited advice. The first advice I offered to them was that they needed to pay very close attention and monitor very closely the activities of none other than Wafula Chebukati, because clearly Wafula Chebukati was working for UDA and was working for William Samoei Arap Ruto. I'm not sure whether they heeded to the advice, because there was no way Wafula Chebukati could go ahead and appoint out of 42 returning officers. Out of the 42, there is no way Wafula Chebukati could appoint 19 of them from almost Rift Valley region. It can't work like that. They did nothing. Then I also rang a bell to them when Johnson Sakaja was cleared to contest in Nairobi. In one of my most elaborate videos, I explained to them that the fact that Johnson Sakaja had been cleared to contest meant that they didn't control, or they didn't have control over the deep state. And I told Raila Odinga at that particular time that it was clear that the deep state was actually a myth. Let me deliver this bad news to them again. Following the appointments which were made yesterday to the police, Azimio will not have any chance in 2027. So before we go further, please allow me to take this opportunity to thank everyone who has always been supportive of this particular channel. And in case you are also watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button, so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is now. Let me just grab my phone and get these particular appointments which were made yesterday. Let me just get them. Sorry, just a minute. The appointments which were made yesterday. Now, this is the appointment which were made yesterday. Appointments in senior ranks of the National Police Service. It says, His Excellency the President has, on the 12th day of April 2023, and following the recommendations of the National Police Service Commission, caused the appointment of Douglas Kanja Kirocho as the Deputy Inspector General, Kenya Police Service. Kanja Douglas is actually the best. If it were my prayer, this is the gentleman who would have been the IG of the country. Not Koome. He's a fine gentleman, professional. He's going to serve. But I'm going to demonstrate to you why this appointment is political. The president has also appointed Bruno Isohi Siosa as the Director General, Kenya Coast Guard Service, pursuant to Section 17 of the Kenya Coast Guard Service Act. So this is the gentleman who was actually, most people had hoped was going to be appointed. He has now been taken to go uko kwa bahari uko. Meanwhile, additional changes have also been made. Meanwhile, the head of state and government has, on behalf of the National Security Council, noted the changes effected by the National Police Service Commission within the senior ranks of the as follows. So they've also made certain changes within the ranks within the National Police Service. Gideon Munga Nyala is now the commandant, Kiganjo Police Training Institute. Elijah Kipkoech Langat, take note of that name, and the gentleman is going to be the commandant GSU, the elite unit. Is not going to be in the hands of a fellow tribesman. Then Ranson Lolmodi is going to be the director of operations. Now, those were the appointments which were captured. Then there are other appointments which were not captured in that particular notice. Peter Kiptanui Lelei has been appointed the Chief Executive Officer of the National Police Service Commission. Then there is President William Ruto has nominated Edwin Kiprono Cheluget as a member of the National Police Service Commission, awaits MP's approval. Why do I strongly believe that these appointments are geared towards the 2027 general election? I'm saying this because if you've been studying William Ruto's appointments since he took over, all of them are actually geared towards achieving those objectives. If you take William Ruto's cabinet secretaries, all of them are politicians. Am I lying? I don't think I'm lying. All of them. Now, recently, William Ruto made appointments to the chief administrative secretary. Instead of 23, he appointed 50 plus. Out of all those 50, all of them are politicians, which means all those appointments were actually geared towards politics. William Ruto has made a few appointments here, there, MDs, boards here, and the rest. All of them are geared towards achieving certain political objectives. So there is no way William Ruto can just go and now pick from police these names without looking at the political implications in future. Let us begin by looking at current police force. The IG of the police, Josephat Kome, is a Meru. He never applied to be born a Meru, but he's a Meru. You've seen the way he's been operating. Before William Ruto took over, he referred to the former IG as one of the most incompetent police commissioners, inspector generals, Mutiambei. For me, if you compare Mutiambei and Kome, probably will be able to know after he completes his term. So he appointed Kome. You saw how Kome dealt with Azimio to an extent that a fellow police officer failed to climb their vehicle because of speeding, fell down, was overrun by police vehicle. This guy still went to our televisions and announced to the country how some guys in Kisumu killed that police officer. He can go to that extent. He comes from Meru. The DIG, the deputy director, the deputy inspector general now, Douglas Kanji, who was appointed yesterday, comes from Nyeri. For me, maybe let me say I look at the hands of Rigathi Gachagua. But now we are talking of the police force being headed by two individuals from almost the same region. Then you go further, you look at the cabinet secretary, just go down, just take that list. Then now the GSU, which is the elite force, which is always deployed during campaigns, has Eliud Langat. You go further, the director of operations, the guy who will be in charge of operations there, is Ranson Lolmodi. Okay? I don't know where he comes from, but the name sounds somewhere. Those names, if you ask me, are geared towards that. The Douglas Kanji is supposed to retire in 1 year. What does that mean? After his retirement, I see Eliud Langat taking over. Okay? Some other guys will be elevated. There is no way Azimio will lead this country without the deep state. I was reading somewhere in Kanchori's book that Uhuru Kenyatta had a shadow state, Ruto had the real deep state. Currently, what is happening is that Ruto is even taking those shadow state which Uhuru had and is adding to the deep state which he had. So if you ask me, I don't see how Azimio will break these well-planned strategies to win. Let us face it. The appointment in the police is done by the National Police Service Commission, I think, where he has also recommended 2 appointments. So let us wait and see. But for me, the role, number one, the role of the police in politics cannot be overlooked. If the police decides that you are not going to have a rally in Mombasa, you will not have that rally. It will be chaotic. You see, like recently, police decided that Azimio were not going to get into the CBD. They can do anything, but as long as you are stopped. The role of police in politics is there. William Ruto knows the power. In fact, someone was telling me that Uhuru Kenyatta really didn't want Charles Owino to resign from the police because he wanted Owino to be deployed at the Bomas. But Ruto ni nani? He ensured that Gabo was in charge. Gabo was clearly pro-Ruto. Yeah? Number 2, the police can decide to arrest and intimidate supporters. They'll just issue orders, go and arrest. Kome can easily do that. If Kome could order police to do whatever they were doing to Raila's vehicle, he can order anything. So they can target specific individuals, order their arrest. Nothing will happen. People will make noise. Nothing will happen. And that's how they are going to determine the outcome of the 2027 election. And again, look at the deployments during the campaigns, during voting day, and the announcement of results. In 2017, something very strange took place, that all officers who were manning Nyanza region were either Kalenjin or Kikuyu. Why? To protect the presidency. Our country is a tribal country. Let us not lie. So for me, for Azimio to win the presidency in 2027, they must do things differently. Not what they are trying to do currently. What they are trying to do currently is just a template from their former plans. For example, I've seen Raila Odinga holding town hall meetings, and I've seen the people who address that meeting. I'm just like, why should we have Professor Adam Solo and Zaid Abubakar in all Raila Odinga's town hall meetings since 2002? It's time for new people to take over. If you've been following Raila Odinga's rallies, for example, the sound of the guy on the mic is similar since 2011. I've just seen the people they've seconded to negotiate, the technocrats. Paul Mwangi, the lead, Makau Mutua there, and Jeremiah Kioni. When will they bring in new faces? New faces with new ideas. These guys will just do the same thing. So they must do something radical. And their supporters must agree with what they are doing, which means they need to bring a new team, not the usual team which will come up with the usual strategy. So the strategy for them to win is they must lead a revolution, which will go up to the voting day. Without that, with the same team, guys, forget about the 2027 election. Don't waste Kenyans' time. Do something better. Thank you, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.